This is your Utica Comets pregame show with Eyewitness News Sports Director David Edelstein. Utica Comets Faceoff.
The Utica Comets play their 6th game of the season tonight, but this is just their 2nd game at home. Good evening, I'm David Edelstein. Welcome to Utica Comets Faceoff as we count down the minutes to puck drop against the Rochester Americans tonight. Utica has only 4 scheduled opponents this year. Binghamton, Providence make up just 4 of the 32 games, so it's Syracuse and the Amherst who make up the other 28. Those are the teams Utica played last week, too. The Comets played their first home game in 343 days last Wednesday, and jumping in here late in period 1 on that one, Jonah Gadjevic is waiting center. The young guy's getting involved, and he just puts it away for them. It was Tyler Tucker and Will Lockwood who had their first assists of the season to get that goal in the center of the crease. Midway through period 2, Steve Santini wound up taking a long shot. He's kind of in the bottom left of your screen there. Sam Annis and Sven Berchi were able to work it over to him, so he gets his first goal of the season. Annis' 5th assist at that point. Berchi's 3rd, because that line's had a lot of chemistry. 6 minutes left in period 2. Nathan Walker wound up getting close to the net, kind of setting himself up. Annis was there with the centering try, and what do you know, Annis with another assist. He led the league with that category last year. Walker gets his first goal. Mitch Ranke credited for one also. Dakota Joshua also scored later in the game, and Gadjevic had a 2nd goal of the game in period 3. So the Comets beat the Crunch 5-2 in their home opener. Then the Comets had little time, though, to relish in their victory. They hit the road to play the Americans the next night. No score here in the 2nd period, and Steve Santini drove it, tipped in by Lucas Jasek, his first goal of the year, a power play. Take a look from behind the net. Carson Fote also gets his first professional assist on that one, so it's 1-0 Utica. The Americans score in the final minute of period 2, though, to tie it, then take the 2-1 lead 20 seconds into period 3. And off the draw, Gadjevic able to put that one away to tie the game. Jasek wins the faceoff, Fote slams it. The rebounding Gadjevic has his 3rd goal in 2 days. 2 minutes later, tell me if you've seen this one before. Comets on the man advantage again. Annis to the right, waits, centers it for Walker, who puts it away in front. Did we not just see that same play in the Crunch highlights a second ago from the day before? Utica leads 3-2, but Rochester ties it up late in period 3, so we go to a shootout. TJ Smith puts it away. Then Cole Lind gets jammed on the right pad. Jack Quinn fakes it, goes right, and that one is in. So Sam Annis needs to score, and he kind of, deja vu, does the exact same move to score. John Gillies needs to make this stop, though, but John Sebastian D puts it on his right pad. The block made, but block made across the goal line. So Rochester wins the shootout 3-1, wins the game 4-3. This leaves the Utica Comets in 4th place heading into tonight's game. Comets are coming off the longest scheduled break of the season here. 7 days without a game. Today, day number 8 of that stretch, but they'll play in a few minutes. Each team in the North Division has played 5 or 6 games so far this season. The advantage the Americans have in the standings right now over the Comets is that 1 extra point they got by winning that shootout last Thursday. So let's look at team comparisons. Early on here this season, the Americans have 1 more win than the Comets. That shootout loss for Utica again against Rochester that we just saw. And we're going to see many of these inverted records this year because, again, Utica plays Rochester and Syracuse almost exclusively in 2021. Last season, the Comets had the advantage with 5 wins, 3 losses. Utica actually handed Rochester a shootout loss exactly 1 year ago today, February 26, 2020. The Americans have the best power play percentage so far this year with 7 goals on 18-man advantages in the league. Only the Chicago Wolves have more power play goals so far this year with 8 after 34 times with the upper hand. Chicago has also played 2 additional games too, by the way. So Utica tied for the 3rd best power play in the league after going 3 for 4 in the Comets' last game. The penalty kill has been a different story for the 2 teams though, both in the bottom 4 of the AHL. And here are the names that have made it all happen for Utica. Sam Annis had led the team with 7 points, all from assists, but he was called up to the St. Louis Blues yesterday. So the current Comets point leader is Lucas Jasek with 5. And also with Annis away, you see Jasek there leading in assists along with Mitch Ranke to keep them there at 4. Cole Lind has stayed off the score sheet over the past week after he had a blistering start to the season. He still leads the Comets with 4 goals, though. Jonah Gadjevic had 3 goals in those last 2 games we just took a look at to help reach that mark, too. The Comets as a team have scored 18 total goals, have 19 against, 6 Comets players with a +2 rating on the ice. And still, rookie Carson Fote leads the team in shots. Fote has 1 goal so far in his pro career. And looking at the Americans, Jean-Sebastien Dea with 7 points leads the team in that category, and much of that comes from his team-leading 3 goals. Remy Ellie has also lit the lamp 3 different times. That's a crew that's been dangerous on the ice this year. Dee, Ellie, and Ryan Jones are seeing 7, 6, and 5 more goals scored while they're on the ice than they're letting up while they're on the ice, so that's pretty good. Oskari Laaksonen has been solid on the feeds as well, as he leads Rochester with 5 assists. So now we have the numbers, and we've talked a lot about the goal scorers, but what about the Comets goal defenders? We speak with Comets goalies head coach Curtis Sanford after the break. Stay tuned.
You're watching the Utica Comets Faceoff.
Welcome back to Utica Comets Faceoff. The Comets have played 5 games so far this season, but already 2 of them have gone to a shootout, and that means that the Comets goalies have been tested in all sorts of situations so far, including 5-on-5 play, 4-on-4, power plays, penalty kills, 3-on-3 in overtime, and also, of course, the shootouts themselves, which is basically a skills competition. So joining us tonight, Utica Comets goalie development coach Curtis Sanford. Coach, we often talk about how rosters shift so much year to year. We also talk about how even in a single season, they might change a lot. We've seen that so far this year. Comets also in a partnership this year between the Canucks and the Blues. You got a lot of new players with you. So how has it been working with the goalies from 2 different organizations?
Yeah, it's you never know how it's going to go until you get right into it. And I think, the coaching staff, we've come together and we've worked well together, and I think that's kind of extended to the players. And because like I said, you just never know what's going to unfold when you have 2 organizations merge together the way we have. But I like what we've seen. I watch the games from up above. The work ethic is really high. I think the attention to detail is really high, and the guys are having fun. So I think, with that combination, I think it's been a success this early in the season, and hopefully it continues.
And as we just mentioned, 2 of the Comets' 5 games this year have gone to the shootout. Head coach Trent Cole actually referred to games like this as actually maximizing your time on the ice. And of course, the goalies have had a chance to do that. And it was both Jake Kiley and John Gillies individually who have each had one of the shootouts so far this year. So what exactly is it that you can learn by seeing your goalies in these extended situations so early in the season?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, timing, obviously. Inside of that play, a lot of the time it's trying to match the speed of the player. It's trying to take away what he wants to do. It's almost like a chess match at that point where you're giving him information, he's giving you information, and then you're just trying to outsmart him. And I think what I've seen so far is in Jake's shootout, he had a really solid approach. And with John's shootout, again, it's such a timing thing, and it's something that you have to, work back into. And you got to remember that these guys haven't played, games like that include a shootout, let alone 3-on-3 overtime in, 365 days almost. So it's getting back in the swing of things. Definitely it's something that you can prepare for early in the season, but a lot of times you're not really there kind of focusing on shootouts that early in the season. So, you just kind of hope for the best when it's this early, but at least it gives you an opportunity to see what you have. If you got to adjust some things and talk about some different things with goalies, but it also gives you an opportunity to see what you have with players.
And how specifically might this actually help their development as players? We know that there's only so much that you can kind of simulate in those practices. Head coach Trent Cole said yesterday, actually, that he thinks one of the practices this week has been one of the hardest in the careers of some of these players, is what at least he heard through the coaches' chain from the players telling the other coaches. So what can you learn from these situations that are so rare in practice, but you're getting a chance to see?
You can look at your practices and your games now, and you've checked off a lot of boxes. Sometimes you might not see a shootout until game 22, 23, and it can take you by surprise. But now we've checked this box. We know now that we're playing regular season games, and there's potential for 3-on-3s and shootouts. So now we've checked those boxes in games, and we've checked those boxes in practices. So now that, we can tune up for them.
And Coach, you have 3 goalies under your watch this year. How do you kind of make sure that you're keeping track of each of their varying styles and kind of allow them to grow in different ways uniquely?
I'm excited with all 3 guys. They're all different goalies, which is really exciting. And that's what I like, and that's a challenge that I like. Is I'm not trying to make robots out of everybody. You try and take the assets that they bring to the table. You try and clean up some habits and details, and hopefully you let their athleticism instincts take over in the game.
Utica Comets goalie development coach Curtis Sanford, thank you so much for your time tonight. Let's take a look at how the goalies have performed so far. John Gillies on the left has the most AHL experience prior to this season. He's a player who's gotten in 3 games so far. He was out with concussion symptoms at one point in the season, which allowed Jake Kiley to start games back-to-back, the 2nd and 3rd of the year. And then the records speak for themselves, both of them with wins already this year. Gillies has had that 1 shootout loss, Jake Kiley with his win to get the 1-1. Goals against average, a little different for Kiley, who's faced quite more shots in his game, but the save percentages are definitely up there for the Comets. So, oh say can you see, it's almost time for puck drop. Thank you for joining us tonight, and stay friendly and stay tuned.